Did you know about NASA's planned base camp on the moon? NASA has been into fascinating things lately, and today we have brought you a complete video about NASA's latest planned base camp on the moon. And today we have brought you a complete video about NASA's latest planned base camp program. Watch this video till the end to learn about the 4 most prominent things from the program. Also, be sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any similar content. Firstly, what do you need to know about NASA's planned base camp on the moon? In early September, a series of flights under NASA's Artemis program has planned to return humans to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. It will be the beginning of an even more ambitious project than sending humans back to the moon. When the first astronaut places her boots on the lunar soil in 2025 as part of Artemis 3, assuming the current schedule holds. This Artemis mission will eventually break Apollo 17's record for the most prolonged stay on the moon, 74 hours, 59 minutes, 38 seconds, thanks to this lunar outpost, which will also act as a base for more extensive research. Finding and taking resources from the moon is essential to NASA's plan for the Artemis base camp. This might theoretically enable humans to stay on the moon for long periods by reducing the weight of rocks carrying supplies launched from Earth. These resources include oxygen, metals, water, ice, and building supplies derived from lunar rock or dust. Up next, what details have been revealed regarding the program? The Artemis program schedule has gotten a little longer since its launch in 2019. The initial version of the base camp was supposed to be set up by 2030. However, an internal planning document from a news source, Ars Technica, replied it might happen closer to 2034. After speaking with some of these experts, 4 details regarding the Artemis moon base were revealed to us. Coming right up, will NASA seek out crucial resources at the lunar South Pole site? The South Pole provides astronauts with 2 essential components from a lunar base: periods of constant sunlight and deep craters covered in darkness for billions of years. The moon's South Pole sees up to 2 months of continuous light each year as a result of the moon's tilt concerning the sun, with the sun circling just above the horizon the entire time. The Artemis base camp can generate enough solar electricity with all this sunlight. According to Parasun Desai, the Deputy Assistant Administrator of NASA's Space Technology Mission Directorate, the agency is now investigating designs that would support a solar array more than 30 feet in the air to make the most of the available sunlight. The same tilt that gives the lunar pole's months an uninterrupted illumination also causes some of the moon's craters to have the shaded regions that haven't seen the sun since the hole was formed. Permanently shadowed zones are these extremely cold and gloomy craters where researchers have discovered signs of water ice. Suppose this frozen water turns out to be readily available and abundant. In that case, it will benefit the people living at the Artemis base camp and refueling missions to Earth or Mars. Since water can be converted into the propellants, it can also power spaceflight. Next, does NASA think there will be water? NASA cannot promise that there will be enough water ice on the moon, that it will be accessible, or it won't contain any impurities that need to be thoroughly cleaned up. Numerous NASA initiatives, including the Volatiles Investigating Polar Exploration Rover, or VIPER, will focus on these details and the location of the most significant deposits. It is anticipated that this mobile robot will travel to the lunar South Pole in the later half of 2024 to look for water. Ben Bussey, the director of NASA's Lunar Surface Innovative Initiative, based at Johns Hopkins University, says that if further research reveals that there is no water on the moon, then lowering the cost of rocketing payloads between Earth and the moon will become the key to establishing a lunar base camp. In other words, it would need to become much more affordable to get everything from Earth to the moon required to build and supply the base. Coming right up, how will astronauts explore the moon without leaving base camp? The first significant step towards building a base camp will be the Lunar Terrain Vehicle, LTV, which is expected to launch on a mission sometime after Artemis 3rd in 2025. The new moon buggy will be controllable remotely. According to Greg Chavers, Director of Technical Integration Office and NASA's Exploration Communications Systems Development Mission Directorate. The rover will have some autonomy in avoiding obstacles like rocks and craters. As a result, astronauts can explore the lunar environment both from the base camp on later missions and from the security of a lander on earlier flights. This implies that NASA can use the LTV to carry out the mission or science-related tasks even when no humans are present on the moon. The LTV will be essential for finding water, ice, and other lunar resources, whether or not a driver is present. This will assist NASA in choosing the optimal location for the base camp's more permanent components. Moreover, will astronauts be able to explore the moon without spacesuits? Although the autonomy and remote control capabilities of the LTV are significant innovations, its basic architecture isn't anticipated to differ significantly from the rovers that came before it. The open LTV requires astronauts to put their spacesuits on to operate it. In contrast, NASA's idea for a lunar mobile home enters completely uncharted ground for an engineering perspective. The pressurized interior of NASA's RV-like design, known as the Habitable Mobility Platform, will contain life support systems, allowing occupants to travel without spacesuits comfortably. Putting on a spacesuit can take hours and is not always pleasant, making life easier for the astronauts. It also implies that crewed ventures across the lunar surface can continue longer and travel farther than ever. Each astronaut's oxygen supply in their spacesuit determines how long a mission can survive in unpressurized rovers, like the LTV. The aim is to enable numerous astronauts to live and work inside the vehicle for up to 2 weeks. Still, the final design for the RV hasn't been decided upon, so experts can't predict what it will look like. After the LTV makes its debut, according to Chavers, the livable mobility platform will be delivered to the moon between 1 and 3 times by Artemis. Chavers states that when the first mission of the livable mobility platform is complete, the vehicle will stay on the moon for use in subsequent missions. Up next, what have we learned about shaping the base camp's appearance? Since science fiction has been imagining what homes in space might look like for decades, the lunar cabin is ready to capture the entire world's attention. Although the design has not been completed, according to Chavers, NASA is considering inflatable and modular structures as options to build larger habitable rooms on the moon that are more portable and low in weight. Chavers also highlighted a massive 3D printer that runs on the moon dust or rock as a fascinating potential. He claims that a device like this might produce bricks or other shapes and either build a home from the start or improve one imported from Earth. In fact, according to Chavers, a test structure is being constructed in Houston using a prototype 3D printer. According to the University of Notre Dame, geologist Clive Neal, who has researched lunar dust samples, moon dust or rock may be particularly important in protecting astronauts from radiation from cosmic rays and solar flares. Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field filter most of this hazardous radiation. Still, the moon lacks both, so any humans who stay there must take additional precautions. According to Neal, up to 6 feet of lunar material may be necessary to give astronauts adequate shielding from radiation, raising a person's chance of acquiring cancer at high dosages. Lastly, what is NASA most interested in mining? According to Desai, NASA is interested in mining oxygen, which is abundant in lunar rocks, and metals like aluminum, in addition to collecting water and building materials from the moon. This is part of learning to live off the land, on the moon, so that a facility there could be more self-sufficient and act as a resupply station for spacecraft headed to Mars. However, Teasel Muir Harmony, curator of the National Air and Space Museum, questions whether it could be appropriate to contemplate. At the same time, humanity redefines its relationship with the moon. We traveled all this way to explore the moon. Still, the most significant thing is that we discovered the Earth, said Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders. When he saw our home planet rise over the lunar horizon, according to Muir Harmony, NASA keeps using the word sustainable regarding the base camp concept. The woman continues, and I wonder whether trying to harness lunar resources to make our stay on the moon sustainable could make us think differently about the sustainability of our presence here on Earth. And this is about today's video. So, we hope you enjoy watching this. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to learn about the upcoming informational videos. Also, share your thoughts with us about what you learned today in this video and what has you excited the most. So, have fun! Take care till next time. Goodbye, guys!